Hello, welcome to another Qual in the Basement video. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a response/reaction video to another creator's video talking about the Japanese card market, talking about Pokemon 151. The creator is okJLUV. I first saw his video when I was just scrolling through, or not even scrolling, but like it showed up as like the autoplay thing on YouTube when I was just watching some videos in the morning. And immediately I had a lot of differing opinions about this video, and I kind of just wanted to like touch on some of them. And just to preface, I have no beef with this person. I don't even know who they are. This is the first time I've seen any of their videos. I just have a lot of disagreements in terms of like their viewpoints on the market, the Japanese Pokemon card market. And I just kind of wanted to share my own perspective, which I think is a little bit more like optimistic or like positive. Because I've noticed lately there's a lot of like pessimism or like negativity targeted towards like the Japanese Pokemon card market. Everyone's just kind of like I guess like propagating these views that it's like not good, that it's like a bad landscape and all this kind of stuff, and like that like high prices are bad, and like razor pitchforks, down with resellers are evil, all that kind of stuff. Like I do agree that there are parts of the video I obviously agree with regarding like market manipulation and stuff like that. But for the most part, there's just a lot of points regarding prices being high and stuff like that. Well, we'll get into it. But yeah, so one other thing to preface regarding my response is that the reason why I disagree with a lot of the things here is because I have a very strong viewpoint regarding overprinting and regarding scarcity. And because I come from like Magic the Gathering, I've played it for a long time. I got into Magic the Gathering back in like 2010, between 2010 2012. And I also saw like kind of the rise and fall of like the English Pokemon market, where, as everyone can see now, it's just been printed into oblivion, and cards are losing value and people are losing interest. And so that's kind of what I wanted to touch on. A lot of points like that I wanted to touch on. And why I personally think that the Japanese card market, even though it's very high in terms of its price point, I would say that interest has just hyper accelerated, and maybe it's because nothing else is going on, but I personally think it's because of the reason that there is scarcity, and maybe to some degree that might be artificial, but you could just basically say that about anything regarding Pokemon, because it's completely controlled by a company that prints things on cardboard. If they wanted to, they could make everything available to everyone. So at the end of the day, the scarcity is artificial no matter what way you look at it. It's just now the control or the power is in like, it's been kind of more widespread, and it's in the hands of like more than just the Pokemon company. It's in the hands of the distributors. It's in the hands of the card shops that sell it, stuff like that. But yeah, I have a lot of points to cover here. Yeah, so let's just get into it. All right, so here's the first point. So I have like kind of like a list of highlighted stuff. So
at length about how reselling and flipping is detrimental to the Japanese Pokemon card market, and
so just like immediately within the first 30 seconds, I already just disagree. I'll get more into this later as the video continues, but I cannot comprehend how reselling and wait, hold
the
on.
Japanese Pokemon about how reselling and flipping is
I don't understand how reselling is bad for the Japanese card market in any way. But yeah, let's keep going. So that was the first one. That it's detrimental here
on the secondary market in terms of box prices and single prices doesn't reflect that. You may have missed this news. Is indicating that the set should come down in price, but what's happening out there on the secondary market in terms of box prices and single prices doesn't reflect that. You may have missed this news because I didn't cover.
So the whole made to order thing, I thought that I had it on my list here. Um, and prices don't reflect the whole announcement of made to order. And I mean, there's some other creators that have talked about this, but made to order doesn't mean anything. Nobody wants to open, I mean, and you say yourself later in the video, you're only going to be opening 15% of the entire set from one box. You want more than one box, so the made to order thing realistically doesn't impact the secondary market whatsoever. So it's of course not going to reflect that.
Now, and that is, so thank you again. Everything is indicating that.
So
I have no idea.
Yeah. So here he said, I have no idea
this thing is going to go.
Which way this thing is going to go. And I can tell you right now, I have a lot of ideas about which way this thing is going to go. Personally, this is basically EV Heroes 2.0. Even at $200 a booster box, you're going to be making money if you invest into this set. So as far as prices, like almost all singles across the board are going to be expensive for this set. And I mean, from what I've opened and from what I've seen other people open, pull rates are pretty good overall, I would say. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've just been lucky, or I've seen other people get lucky or whatever. But I feel like even like the bad singles are worth money because the set is just so expensive and in such high demand. But yeah, let's keep going. Let's go to the next point. So here, he talks about here.
Set at that price. I get that it's USD for a booster pack. Why do you want to buy this set at that price? I get.
So yeah, once again,
that it's the new hot thing, and I get that there's nothing else really until August, which is the next Japanese Pokemon card set, and English Obsidian Flames. But at that price, what are you really doing to yourself? I mean, the single prices for this set are very high, and that comes from the set being very limited. And I know one booster box opening, 30 packs, 20 packs in this case, doesn't really feel like a whole lot.
Yeah, so I mean, once again, I mean, the set being limited, why would you want to buy it? I don't think it's just the hype. I think that people like the idea of opening a box and getting an expensive card in it. It's definitely the gambling aspect, and I know he touches on that later in the video, but like Pokemon is gambling at its core. Like ripping packs open, like from the inception of Pokemon, it's gambling, no matter what way you look at it. So from my perspective, having a more limited print and having like a limited supply of cards and of available to rip boxes is better for the overall health of that particular economy, because it garners interest. Nobody wants to open a box and get some cards that are worthless. Like, why would you go and buy a scratch off, which is essentially what this is, except in a different form? Why would you go and buy a scratch off if you can't win anything worthwhile? So, I mean, I think that to kind of like overlook that idea, the fact that Pokemon at its core, Pokemon trading cards are at its core gambling. It's fun because you're gambling and hoping to get something worthwhile, and it's really, obviously the art, I love the artwork, don't get me wrong. I think it's gambling in like a very cool modern form, and I love collecting the cards. Obviously I've been collecting for before all the hype, but I just don't really understand what I just don't get the point. I think that the reason why so many people are switching over to Japanese is because the value of these cards has gone up so tremendously, and it's garnered that attention. There's zero demand for English Pokemon now, and it's not just because the print or the print quality is bad. It's because the value of those cards are dropping. Why would you want to buy something and then immediately lose value on the things that you just bought? It just doesn't make any sense. So people are moving away from it, and it's also what killed off Magic collecting in a lot of ways. Look at all the people exiting Magic still to this day. Like, Magic continues to do things that they overprint, they destroy the value of their card market, so the secondary market, and the secondary market value is extremely important when it comes to trading cards. When you start tampering with that and destroying it because a few loud voices on social media and stuff like that are talking about how it's bad that you can't get certain cards. Like most people, especially when it comes to Pokemon, we're collectors. Like I would say a very small percentage of the people who buy packs and like, collect or whatever are also players. Like it's a very small percentage, and the players aren't really like, if you're a player, why would you go out and buy booster boxes and like hope for the cards? Like you need 4 of a certain card. You know how many even if you were paying retail, you know how many booster boxes you'd have to buy in order to get the cards you need? No, you're going to go out to the secondary market and you're going to buy the cheap cards that you need, because ultimately you're not playing with SARs and SRs, you're playing with like the cheap cards, because it doesn't matter, the rarity of the card doesn't matter, it matters how strong the mechanic is. But anyway, let's keep going. So 258, let's see,
a little bit more expensive than retail, where these were very attainable, and if you didn't hit the chase card, it didn't feel as bad. Now we've transitioned into this point where it's essentially gambling. It's make or break.
Yeah,
if you
once
find
I already
an
touched
Arbor
on this
instead of the Erica SR, you're losing a considerable amount of money. Anywhere between...
I mean, so you're losing money either way, I guess. So like, sure, yeah, you would technically be losing less money, but like from like a percentage perspective, if let's say the box price was cheaper, then effectively that would make the singles that you get inside cheaper as well. So they scale with the price of the box. So like if the box is, let's say, $150, then the average price of the singles within that box are going to be higher to reflect that price. If the box is $50, then the price of those singles is going to be much lower. So like, yeah, you technically lose less money, like in a real world perspective, but percentage wise or the ratio wise, you're still effectively losing the same amount. If you pull the Arbok, you're still going to get, let's say, 15% or 25% of the value back on your box, versus pulling the Erica SAR and like tripling or quadrupling your box. It's effectively the same thing. It's just like a higher scale. It's like scaled with the price of the market.
100 and 120 USD, you're making back maybe like 20 USD from your booster box. Now, again, it's not all about money. It's not about getting a return on the hits you find. But
I think it's mostly about money. Like, I don't know. I think that basically every collector wants to see their collection grow in value. Nobody wants to see that the cards that they have are worthless. They're pieces of cardboard. They have no inherent value. Their intrinsic value is basically zero, besides the people who play with them, and we kind of touched on that already. So it's their inherent value is based on public or market perception or the market value, and supply and demand. But
the value proposition simply isn't there. I ran a panel at Card Party with Cool Trainer Ryan.
Value proposition for opening any booster box of any kind from any card game, there's no value proposition. But
Pokevault,
there's more about that later as well.
I asked everybody, audience included, the question:
even if it's cheap, if it's cheap and you get cheap worthless cards, then it's even more of a waste of time and money.
Triple the price. Would anybody buy it? And it was a resounding no. It's because the value proposition just isn't. Anybody buy it? If an English booster box cost triple the price, would anybody buy it? And it was a resounding no. It's because the value proposition just isn't there.
Okay. All the people saying no, they're either just lying or they don't know. I don't even have like, it's not that, okay. I don't want to like come off like I'm saying that like someone's lying or accusing anyone of anything, but like it doesn't make sense that they would say no, because that was the English card market. And if people aren't willing to pay massive amounts more for a booster box, and it happens in English all the time. Look at vintage English, $15,000 for a base set booster box. Like people are paying that. It's not just like, yeah, obviously it's not just a casual hobbyist, but even modern Pokemon. Look at Eevee Heroes. it's literally 4 times MSRP from when it came out, and it came out what, like a year ago or 2 years ago. So even if we look at modern Pokemon in English, and yeah, obviously current modern English Pokemon has, you know, significantly dipped in price, but that's mostly because they've overprinted. And if the scarcity was smaller, or the scarcity of the product was there and the demand wasn't met, then those boxes would be 3 or 4 times, and people would be paying them, and they did pay them. So I don't really get it. Yeah, I don't really understand this point either.
Would not see sales. So why is it
they would see sales? They saw record sales all through 2020 and 2021 when the hype was going crazy, and people were paying 3 or 4 times MSRP for just a regular booster box that came out during that time. I mean, look at XY Evolutions. The cards, even in that's a perfect example. The cards in XY Evolutions are like basically worthless. Even the Charizard, like you have to get a perfect print Charizard, which is like nearly impossible in English, to like even like come close to meeting the value of the box. And people are still buying it. Like look at like last sales on eBay. People are still buying at $700-800, or it's actually $800 or $900 now, I think, per box. Even though you could just buy the Charizard and all the pulls for like $200 probably. Like you could buy that Charizard for $50 as long as it's not graded a PSA 10. Like I think a PSA 8 probably only goes for like $100. So like I just, yeah, I don't know. I disagree with this as well.
People are handing money over fist for triple to 4 times the price for a booster box.
Because scarcity, because people enjoy having something that's rare and valuable, which is part of the inherent value and the inherent kind of appeal to most people who collect Pokemon.
That they're not going to get a return. In fact, knowing they're going to get less of a return than an overpriced English booster box, because in an English booster box, you're walking away with at least 2 to 3 SRs or SIRs or URs.
Oh, here. I have the complete opposite experience. Maybe it's just me. I have a bin full of English booster boxes that I opened myself, and this was when I was buying at MSRP. I have some not EV Heroes, I'm sorry, Evolving Skies. I have some Fusion Strike, stuff like that. I've probably opened at least 2 cases of English booster box, even when they were going for like 100, like when Evolving Skies was going for 140 a box, and I lost literally on every single one. Your chance of pulling something better, or your chance of pulling good cards, I think is significantly higher in a Japanese booster box, which is part of the reason why I even switched over to Japanese back in like 2014, 15. I was buying Japanese booster boxes for like $30, and then like I could open a bunch of these boxes, and like every box I was like guaranteed to have something cool in it. Not guaranteed, but like almost guaranteed. Whereas the English equivalent, like especially modern English, is just like, first of all, it's MSRP even is like usually at least twice of or even more of what a Japanese booster box is. And sure, you get more packs, but like 90% of those packs are just dud after dud after dud. As far as opening booster boxes when it comes to English, I have lost significantly more than I have ever lost opening Japanese.
More than what you're getting from a Japanese booster box. That's not even including the art rares. In a Japanese booster box, you're only really walking away with 1 SR. And I know with Pokemon 151...
See, the SR thing, I don't know, maybe like once again, maybe I've just been lucky, and maybe the people that I've seen pull things are just luckier, but yeah, I just feel like you get so much more. And yeah, I mean, and the thing is the ARs are even expensive, so like yeah, sure, you maybe get 1 SR, but like you get a lot of these ARs, you get a lot of these, even some of the regular holos and the regular reverse holos in this set are like, if you sell all that off, like you can pretty easily break even or even get close to the value of your box, unless you get super unlucky. But once again, that happens in English all the time. I mean, it's the nature of opening Pokemon packs. It's gambling. It's literally gambling at its core. It's gambling that somehow evades regulation, and they have managed to allow companies to sell gambling packs with pretty colors to children, essentially.
It releases, it's already worth more than 4 times on the secondary market, despite it being a made-to-order product.
Oh yeah, here, the made-to-order thing. Okay, made-to-order literally means nothing.
See the point I'm trying to make here? Logically, it doesn't make any sense. If you're buying something and it's instantly making you a lot of money, it's really difficult to open it up. It forces you to ask yourself the question, which is a difficult thing. And I've actually spoken about this with a fan, one of the first 500 subscribers from the channel in New Zealand of all places. I know, crazy. Who has 6 Dream League booster boxes, and he could easily open them. He's bought them at retail price. He knows that it would be fun if he did, but it's gotten to the point where it's not financially responsible. That's the key. Okay,
some points to touch on. I agree with this somewhat and also disagree with it. So he mentioned instantly making money. They don't instantly make money. I mean, if you consider $10 on your booster box instant money, I mean, that's fine. If you're that worried about $10, I don't think you should be buying booster boxes to rip open anyway, personally. I think that if we're talking about, hold on, he mentioned,
it's going to the point where it's not financially responsible.
Financial responsibility. Pokemon cards are not financially responsible inherently, unless you're doing it to make a business or something like that. If we're talking about the pure enjoyment, you know, doing it out of pure enjoyment, and you're worried about your financial situation, you shouldn't be buying Pokemon cards, period. Like, you shouldn't be gambling. You should not be spending your money on these sorts of things. So I think having this financial responsibility point is irrelevant as well. As far as the instant value, it's not instant. Yes, since you held your Dream League box for 6 years, it went up in value a considerable amount. So if it takes that long, like, hold on, when did Dream League come out? Pokemon. When did this come out? 2019. So it's been 4 years. So it took 4 years for this price escalation to happen. And by the way, I bought 2 Dream League booster boxes in 2022, I believe. So literally like a year ago, for like around $200 or even less. I think it was like $190. So I consider that relatively cheap when it comes to you know, sought after booster boxes at that time. So basically from 2019 to 2022, Dream League basically only went up, you know, like 50%, something like that. Because even at launch, it wasn't at MSRP. I mean, you're basically not finding these boxes at MSRP unless you live in Japan and you can go to the Pokemon Center, and even then they sell out pretty quickly, you know. But
that's the key here: financially responsible. If you're in a position where you don't have limitless amounts of money and you can't afford to do things like that, and you know that you might be in a position in the future where you might need money instantly, and the Pokemon card box has become an asset and less of a hobby, it's too dangerous to open it. And
that's why you buy one to open at launch, and then you hold another one. Or however many you want to open, you buy those when they're, you know, new. Because, like, Pokemon goes up in value over time. It's just been shown time and time again. Once sets come out of print, people coming into the hobby, they want the old cards, and so they're going to buy up the old cards. There's less, it's just simple demand, supply and demand. When there's less to meet the demand, the value will go up. And regardless of market manipulation, that is just, it's just part of the way that Pokemon works, which from an investment standpoint, I think is pretty great.
Yeah.
As long as interest in Pokemon doesn't waver to some like unrecoverable degree, which is basically what's happening with Magic at this rate. It's just tumbling and tumbling down. You're almost guaranteed to continue making money. But I think Pokemon they're a little smarter than Wizards of the Coast when it comes to like kind of understanding the secondary market. Although English Pokemon hasn't seemed that smart, because they kind of crashed their market. Not crashed. Evolving Skies, certain sets are still expensive, and I still think if buying it right now when it's low, when English is low, this is the time you buy. You don't like shy away from like, oh, prices are going up, they're going down, like I don't think it's worth it. It's like, buy now, like just go and buy it if that's what you're looking to do. Like if you're looking to invest into it, go and buy it now, because it's inevitable, it will go up. Like,
should be a fun thing, but at that point it crosses it. Originally, Pokemon
it's fun because it's gambling.
cards used to just be that, fun, nothing more. They weren't an investment. They were something you would just buy off the shelf at the news agency or the store, and you rip open on the way home, see if you got something cool, and that was about it. But now,
Yeah, that was like when you rip up on your way home. So that was what, like 5-6 years ago? That was like, we're talking about going back to like the early to mid 2010s, when like not that many, when it was still a relatively niche thing to like rip open Pokemon packs. I don't think we're ever going to go back to that time. So
now every pack you open has stakes, whether you're going to find a good card or a bad card, whether you're going to find something or nothing. And that's extended all the way to booster boxes, which, by the way, we weren't buying en masse back then in 1999. I mean, at least I was, and I was lucky to get like 2 or 3 packs. So
yeah, but that's because we were kids and we were the only ones interested in that, and they were sold to kids. Adults weren't interested in Pokemon. Now adults are interested in Pokemon, and trading cards in general. So, but I mean, like if you think about it, like yeah, people weren't buying mass booster boxes of Pokemon back then, but they were buying Magic, because Magic was more tailored for adults. And let's go to a little bit further in the video. Actually,
now we're in this gluttonous period where we're opening fully booster boxes, getting all 20 packs, and some even getting cases.
Yeah, getting cases. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about financial responsibility, opening a whole case to yourself is not my definition of financial responsibility, but more power to you, you know? I think here...
sets in Japan. However, with Pokemon 151, I have...
Oh, wait, hold on. So he talks about... Yeah, I think he talked about cases here.
And you paid 4 times the retail price of it. You didn't find one of those SRs. It
would
here. Feel terrible knowing
there's no way
20 packs, and some even getting cases because they can afford to. Even if you open a case,
there's basically no way. I mean, okay, I can't say no way because I'm sure someone might be super unlucky and maybe this has happened to them. But there's no way you wouldn't pull like mostly, at least some of the most expensive SARs or SRs from these boxes if you opened a whole case. Like especially Pokemon 151, like if you didn't get an Erica SAR from a whole case, then I mean that feels bad, man. I mean, I don't know. That's rough, but it's highly unlikely, you know. At the end of the day, if you're buying a whole case to open to yourself, I mean, I don't know if you really care that much about the money. Like if you're trying to, if you're struggling with money and you buy a whole case to yourself to try and pull an Erica SAR or pull some of these rare cards so you can like get them graded and flip them, that is not how you invest in Pokemon. And I highly suggest you don't do that. That's a bad idea.
With Pokemon 151, I have noticed some sus things. If you go to websites like Mercari.jp, which is essentially
Mercari,
the Japanese version of eBay, you will see a lot of cards from Pokemon 151 selling for exorbitant prices.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, for sure, there is definitely market manipulation going on, but it's been going on for a long time, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it's like detrimental to the hobby overall, I would say, because I think there's market manipulation happening basically in every market at the top players. If we're talking about the stock market, we're talking about like literally any secondary market. There's almost always going to be market manipulation, and regardless of market manipulation when it comes to Pokemon 151, I definitely still do think that there's a very, very high demand, and that like even if there wasn't like some like market manipulation happening, I still think that this set would be going for more, like way more than MSRP. simply because like there just is such a high demand for it, and I don't necessarily think there's enough supply to meet that demand.
The key word there is selling. Whether they're actually selling or not, we don't really know. Now, Mercari has a history of being super sus, but recently we saw an announcement from the Pokemon company stating that they will be working closely with Mercari to reduce the amount of secondary market sales for new sets on the website in an attempt to kind of control.
But I think this is just PR. How are they going to control this? You know, you can sell your items however you want. I mean,
it's on the website.
How are you going to reduce? I mean, yeah.
Attempt to kind of control the craziness that's happening now. Now, what that entails and what that means, we don't really know yet. You know, we might see new listings for.
It means nothing.
That's on day one when a set comes out. We might see this today just be removed. If it's just one booster box and it's being sold for 3 times the price of Mercari, it's almost definitely somebody that's gone to a store and then just come home to list it, sell it, and make a quick 100 or 150 bucks. So maybe that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, if you're able to actually find one for MSRP anywhere in Japan, because I have friends and family and friends that either live there or are there now, that if I ask them to go get me a box at MSRP, you're not gonna find it, you know. So,
but that's not going to stop the sale of cards, in my opinion, because the sale of cards is sort of free.
Yeah, well, there you go. Sale of cards is free. They're not gonna be able to control that market regardless. So it's just a PR move to get people to put their pitchforks down.
But that's the point where you got to say, hey, hang on a second. If I step back and look at this, this is actually all fabricated, and I'm being set up to lose from the start because there are layers and layers at play here. Now, I touched a little bit on businesses there, and this is a topic.
Yeah, I think there are layers at play for sure. Everyone has to get their cut. The distributor wants their, it's like Pokemon Company wants their cut. Distributors want their cut. Card shops want their cut. And then the people who actually buy the cards, you know, if they're going to be selling them afterwards or holding the boxes, they want their cut as well. But I mean, once again, I don't think that there's instant value in these boxes. Right now, kind of what's happening with Pokemon 151 for the most part is it's already kind of died down. I think. Oh yeah, so this video is a little old. So yeah, there's crazy stuff happening where the prices would move like within a few days. At this time, around this time when the set first came out, but at this point it's stabilized a lot more. So you're not going to be making you're not going to be making money if you're buying at $145 or $160 or $50 or whatever. You're not really going to be reselling it for much more than that. And if you do, you have like fees to pay to like eBay or Mercari or whoever you're going to be selling on. And so your profit at that point is, you know, considering you have so much competition with like other people, it's kind of negligible profit. And I know he talks about like card shops here
that I've wanted to dive into, especially after the weekend, speaking to so many business owners, because, and bear with me, because this is going to sound like I'm simping and caping for them. Not all businesses that are reselling Japanese Pokemon cards are inherently bad.
So simping for businesses, what's to say here? I don't know why anyone would be angry at a business for trying to, especially with like Pokemon cards, where like really, especially like an American business or like, you know, that's selling Japanese Pokemon cards for like $10 profit per box. Like, I don't know why anyone would be angry at them, to be honest with you. I don't know.
What I mean by that is this.
I don't have that much to say about that.
Started up before this boom, you know, around 2017, 2018, 2019, even 2020, when Japanese Pokemon cards, you could still buy them for wholesale prices, which is like 3,950 yen or even less. Any business that started around then did it at a point where Japanese Pokemon cards weren't necessarily profitable. You'd buy them at wholesale, 4,000 yen.
So because they're not profitable, it's like that means the business is okay. Like they're fine. They're not making any money, so they're inherently good. Like they're like, oh, God bless their soul. They're doing the community, like the community a favor by giving them non-profitable, by taking the time and effort and energy to sell non-profitable products.
And then you'd sell them for 5,000 yen and you'd make 1,000 yen. And that's not a whole lot, you know, $10 off each sale. The idea is that,
I mean, really, even nowadays, they're not making that much. I mean, obviously some shops, some of the bigger shops are probably making a good amount because they do get that wholesale distribution price like coming in right away, or shops that can move a lot of product, but like the margins, because there's so many layers, like you said, of like of these products, or of before the booster box gets to the end customer, everyone's taking like their slight cut. So like the profit that the people make along the way is really not anything to write home about.
people are coming to the store, they're buying a lot, or they're buying other stuff, and you're making money that way. But it had never really been super profitable for businesses to stock Japanese Pokemon cards. Then what happened is it became very profitable, and we had this little period, you know.
So, but like you never mentioned like why it became profitable. It's not like it just happened overnight and all of a sudden it just became profitable. It became profitable because demand spiked and supply is continued to be constrained by the Pokemon Company, artificially regulated, or maybe not regulated, but I guess that's the word. Yeah, artificially prevented from overprinting, whatever.
2021, 2022, where you could like sort of up the price. If it was retail, was 5,000, you could get away with like 7,000, shut up, or 8,000 yen. That's when things started to get a little bit murky. And I feel like some businesses sort of got a little bit greedy to see how far they could go. Now, any businesses that started around about that period are forced into this position now where they've established the business and it's their livelihood. When you start a business, it's an investment. You probably got another side hustle. You probably got your main job, rather. The business is your side hustle. Your main job is what's supporting you and sustaining you. The business takes a year or two to get off the ground, but at some point it becomes your livelihood and it's your primary source of income. And when that happens, you can't afford for it to fail because you don't have a backup anymore. You've fully invested into this. That's where those businesses are at now. And they're forced to continue kneeling, basically, you know, doing the bidding of the distributors in Japan. They have no option but to pay the wild prices of distribution. And then for them to make their little bit of profit, they've got to put 15% on top of it. It gets even more expensive.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with you here, but I mean, I don't look at this as simping. It's just the nature of things. And I don't think at any point anyone should be upset at them because this is the way things have been forever, you know? So it's just that naturally, once again, more demand and not enough supply.
But if they're not making.
So prices are going to go up.
They're forced into this really difficult position. That's why I don't feel totally bad for
them. Let's go a little bit further here. Talking about wholesale.
And that's just like a point where you're not getting product at wholesale. You're setting your business up to lose. And that's just like business 101.
The only people getting product at wholesale are, as far as Japanese Pokemon goes, are brick and mortar stores in Japan that have a distribution deal with those distributors in Japan. And even getting that distribution deal is difficult. So I think let's continue a little bit.
$5 on apples, but the cost of an apple in the past has been $2, and then you got to sell it for $6 or $7. You're tripling the price, and you're trying to start a business in a period.
I really don't understand this point either. If people are willing to pay $7 for the apple and you can get it at $5 and you can sell enough apples, what's wrong with starting your business and doing that? It's all about what the market is willing to pay for the product. That doesn't make you inherently a bad person. That's just the nature of business. If you're meeting the demand of people with a product that they're looking for and you're, you know, taking profit from the market, because like if other people are selling the apples for $7, like let's say the bigger companies are selling the apples for $8 and they're getting them at $3. Are you worse if you if you buy the apple for $5 and you sell it for $7? I would argue that because you're a smaller vendor and you're making a significantly less of a profit, you, like from an ethical perspective, which is what it seems like you have a problem with, they're kind of the kind of more ethical, more person or business or whatever, entity or whatever. I don't know. I don't understand this point either.
I'm going to go, hang on a second.
Well, I mean, I understand it. I just disagree with it.
I pay $2 for these apples. Why am I buying them from this business for more? It doesn't make any sense. And you get people that are stubborn or trying.
But see, that's not happening in Pokemon. Like, the big businesses are selling it for 180 or 190 a box, let's say. And so what's wrong with, if you're able to get, like, let's say someone goes, there's like a, just a small guy who goes and picks up a few booster boxes, manages to get them at like MSRP or a little bit above MSRP. Let's say he gets them on, like, I don't know, Sneaker Dunk or Mercari or something like that for like 120 or 130 a box, and then resells them for 150 to someone overseas, let's say, and makes like $20 a box. But overseas, those boxes are going for 170 or 180, and that person who got them for 150 is now selling at 170 or 180. That's still like they're meeting if people aren't going to buy it if it's over the market value, but if they're meeting that demand and they're meeting that market price, I don't really see anything inherently like morally bad about that personally.
Those are the ones that I think are creating this issue or causing this issue to be a little bit worse than it needs to be right now. There's something like 27 super rare, special art rare, and ultra rare chase cards in Pokemon 151. And on top of that, there's the art rares, and then one per booster box, the reverse holo Master Ball variant. So if you're trying to master set Pokemon 151, and that's what the Pokemon company wants, let's be serious. Yeah, it's a trading card game. You should trade to find the cards you don't have, but you're not going to find anywhere near like 5% of the set's total cards out of 20 packs.
Yeah, so once again, print to order, or whatever, it doesn't matter, because you need to open more than one box. And ultimately, if they really cared about people getting the cards at MSRP, like their PR kind of stuff says they do, they wouldn't be selling so many boxes to distributors and allow people to buy more than one box at MSRP. Like, ultimately, if they actually cared, they don't care. They want the secondary market to be like this, because look, I mean, they're selling these boxes to the distributors, so the distributors like name their own price, and then it increases the secondary market price for the stores. So, and for people ultimately,
people to be able to get this set. They want people to keep buying it. It's safe to say
they want people to keep buying it at high prices. Because once again, if they really wanted you to have the set at MSRP, they would make it available on PokemonCenter.com.
It's going to reprint. Do I have any proof? No. But I have precedent, V-Star Universe. I've been through this before.
Proof? No. Precedent, V-Star Universe. I remember I watched this point already, but
there was all this buzz saying there were manufacturing issues. The waves were going to get cut. It just wasn't happening. And then lo and behold, Pokemon Center Japan stocks it, and you can get it.
Yeah. There's the Pokemon Center, and just in general, these distributors and these card shops are going to eventually have more print of Pokemon 151, but there's absolutely no chance that this set is going to ever sell at MSRP again. Like, just basically, it's just too much demand. Like, maybe, like, in some weird universe that might happen, maybe. And if it does, you better buy as much as you can to open and to hold, because it will almost guaranteed to go back up. And with coming up print runs, and I know that there's another reprint coming up, another print run coming up later this month of Pokemon 151, prices will dip on the secondary market for sure as more product becomes available, but it will quickly correct itself and go back up again, because like Eevee Heroes, this set is just too good. It's not going to fall down to prices that are just low. And if we look at V-Star again, let's continue the
multiple boxes, and it was a really cool, fun time. And I think even just within the last 2 or 3 weeks, it reprinted again. So V-Star Universe is the proof that people have tried to flood it, push the price up, the reprints come, the price of everything goes down. You get some people that get burned, and that's just how it goes.
Wait, I mean, who got burned? Because, like, as long as you don't like take your product that you paid, like let's say you paid like $115 for V-Star Universe, then the reprint came along and they like dipped down to like $70 a box or whatever, at least in America. if you're dumb enough, I guess, to sell at that price and like take your $115 boxes and sell it for $70 for whatever reason, then yeah, I guess you got burned. But the price has already gone back up. It's already at $110, $120 on the secondary market again. So I don't think anybody really got burned, unless they thought they were going to make a quick flip or something. I don't know. The name of the game is with Pokemon is patience and long-term hold, and you're, once again, almost every time you're guaranteed to make money, especially on some of these good sets. Look at the other high-class sets. Look at Tag Team GX All-Stars or whatever. Those boxes are going for between $600-$700 now on eBay, on the secondary markets. Look at what are some other examples? Shiny Star V, Shiny Star V. Look at VMAX Climax, and now V-Star Universe. It's gonna be the same thing again. They're gonna slowly, yes, they'll be available for low price for some time, but then eventually it will go back up. So I don't know. I think my points, I guess, have been kind of proven, or not proven, but I think I've kind of gone over all the points I wanted to cover. Let's see if there's
the point of this video is to show you or give you the background. This is my trust me bro moment. If this is your first time at the channel and you're new to collecting Japanese Pokemon cards, I don't know everything. Okay, I don't, but I know some stuff, and what I know, I'm gonna tell you guys. If you don't believe me, you can go and ask Opossum Bud. He's gonna tell you the exact same thing because he's been around for just as long, and we've seen it happen time and time again. I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm not saying don't go buy it. Okay, your money, you do what you want, and I totally get why people want to have a bit of fun, because everyone wants to have a bit of fun. Life's short. YOLO. I get it. I mean, I'm in America right now, flying from place to place. I don't even know what I'm doing. Just go in informed. That's all.
So, I mean, I guess you're just trying to, tell people not to pay the crazy prices at the time of the video. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a reprint later. Probably later this year or even sometime next year, and the price will dip down for sure for this set. But I don't think that you're really that far off paying. I honestly don't think that paying $200 for this box is really that bad of a financial, investment or whatever, because these boxes for so EV Heroes. So when did EV Heroes come out? Let's see. 2021. When EV Heroes was selling for $200 a box, was it a bad investment or was it a bad purchase? No, it wasn't. And now look at it, it's over $400 per box just 2 years later. Not even. In 2 years, this Pokemon 151 set is going to be selling for over $400 a box, guaranteed. Maybe I'm wrong, but I normally wouldn't say something like this unless I was absolutely positive. And from just my experience, and from being someone that sells, Japanese product and have been purchasing Japanese product for a long time now, this is a special set that doesn't come around very often. And the demand will be there, and it will continue rising in value, for sure. That's my 2 cents. So, that's pretty much the video. I hope I didn't come off too aggressive, because I just feel like there's a lot of points that I'm not necessarily. I don't want to seem like I'm targeting this guy, because I honestly have no problem with him. He seems like a nice guy. He seems chill, but I just feel like there's a lot of this kind of, I don't know. I don't like, what's the best way to say this? I just feel like there's a lot of negativity surrounding the Japanese card market, in some ways. And I don't necessarily like it or agree with it. And I just feel like it's very easy to digest negative content. So, yeah, I mean, maybe this video that I made wasn't necessarily the most positive thing, because I am kind of just dissecting a lot of the things that this guy said and kind of putting my own points or refuting his points, but I just feel like overall prices being high is not terrible. I guess that's the point I'm trying to make. I don't think that necessarily the state of the market is that bad. I think that the worst thing actually happening in the market right now is resealed boxes. So like tampered with product. So like as long as if we take like tampered product and like fake, there's not really fake cards, but like if we take out the tampered product or like scams out of the equation, I don't think that a bull market is a bad thing, because ultimately there's people making money, and I also just think that even in a bear market, there's there's even more money to be made, because if the Japanese card market goes into a bear market, let's say a year or 2 years from now, whatever, then it's even a better time to buy up as much as you can, because eventually things will go back up. So that's what I think about like English Pokemon. Right now it's in a fairly bear market. If we're talking about it from like a secondary asset perspective. So definitely not a bad choice to buy. So, but yeah, that's the video. It's kind of long. It's probably like, 47 minutes. So I got to cut it out now. I've blabbered enough. Thank you for watching if you watched. Peace.